Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Agriculture, SOA, Diploma Postgraduate Diploma Programs, PG Diploma in Food Safety and Quality Management, PGDFSQM, MVP 001 Food Fundamentals and Chemistry, Block-1, Introduction to Food Science, Unit-1 Food Basics.
1.0 Objectives. After reading this unit, we shall be able to define the terms food, food chain, food safety and food trade. Relate different types of food based on functions and compositions. Describe the food constituents, their properties and importance, and comprehend the issues related to food policy, consumption trends and food safety. 1.1 Introduction. All living beings need a steady supply of food to take care of the body's requirements. It includes the physical sustenance, growth and tissue repair. The food contains nutrients in the form of chemical energy that the living beings can absorb. The food basket of the human beings in the global scale is wide with a variety of produces and items. The food which a person eats is termed as the diet. The diet must provide a complete range of nutrients to ensure healthy living to the person. Although all foods provide some or all of these nutrients, but no single food item contains all the required nutrients in optimum quantities. The food spectrum of human beings begins with the mother's milk and diverges to different forms of food: raw, minimally processed, semi-processed, cooked, smoked, grilled, roasted, fried, stirred, steamed, frozen, dried, dehydrated, soaked, germinated, fermented, etc. The foods we eat come from either plants or animals. Among the 15 main groups of food commodities recognized by FAO, 9 are of plant origin, 4 of animal origin and 2 of both plant and animal origin. The foods of animal origin comprise meat and offal, milk, eggs, fish and seafoods. Foods of plant and animal origin include sugars and honey and oils and fats, including butter, lard and tallow. Food items of plant origin comprise food grains, cereals, wheat, rice, coarse cereals like corn, sorghum, millets, etc., legumes, pulses, red gram, black gram, green gram, beans and horticultural produce, fruits, vegetables, spices, condiments, etc. Beverages like tea, coffee, cocoa and alcoholic drinks like beer, wine and whiskey and comfort foods like chocolates and betel leaf, pan also form part of food. Human food sources in their natural form are cultivated, reared, captured or cultured. Some foods can be taken in raw form while most need some kind of processing to introduce desirable characteristics for making them acceptable, edible and digestible. Our food selection is conditioned by different factors like environment, climate, availability, economics and faith. Many of us like certain foods because we have been raised eating those foods. In many cases, whatever our parents eat or like to eat are what we eventually enjoy eating. Food is an integral part of life and plays an important role in formation of human societies and evolving of the civilizations. 1.2 Food source. Plants draw solar energy from the sun and synthesize food with the help of chlorophyll present in them. In this process, known as photosynthesis, plants make use of both the sun's energy and minerals, such as calcium, phosphorus, potassium and magnesium, in the soil to produce grains, greens, fruits and tubers that become food to others. The energy gathered by the plants is utilized by the herbivores and subsequently by the carnivores who feed on the herbivores. Unicellular aquatic plants, phytoplankton, also gather nutrients from the solar energy. Phytoplankton is eaten by unicellular aquatic animals. Zooplanktons. Higher aquatic animals thrive on these zooplankton. The chain of transferring energy and organic compounds from one species to another can continue several more times. It eventually ends with the dead animals whose bodies are broken down and used as food or nutrition by bacteria and fungi. As these organisms, referred to as decomposers, feed on carrion, they break down the complex organic compounds into simple nutrients. Thus the energy transformation chain starts all over again. 1.3 Food chain. Food chains, food webs and/or food networks describe the feeding relationships between species in an ecological community. They graphically represent the transfer of material and energy from one species to another. Within an ecosystem, organisms are connected to the organisms they consume. In the biomass transfer, here is a figure showing one such food and energy chain. Figure 1.1, Food chain. Look at the screen. Food chains are also the basic reason for specific pattern of foodborne diseases because of the transfer of disease agents or toxins through them. Human food chain is the most important and begins with all activities of agriculture, animal husbandry and fisheries. It involves producing and harvesting food, its processing and marketing, and culminates in the food preparation and consumption. For the foods of animal origin, the chain preceded the animals or their products. We eat. The process begins with the raising of plants, feed that are eaten by they. Meat animals. Today, the food chain is complicated with the recycling of animal wastes to herbivores that induced problems like the mad cow disease, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, and other fouling of food with toxic chemicals. Thus the human food chain from the farm to fork is of public health significance in regard to food safety. 1.4 Food safety. Food safety is an important concern. From the beginning of civilization, people have been concerned about the quality and safety of foods. Probably our knowledge of food safety began its early stages from the 1600s and concentrated on scientific discoveries. In 1202, King John of England proclaimed the first English food law, the Assize of Bread, which prohibited adulteration of bread with such ingredients as ground peas or beans. People recognized that food spoils, but the reasons for spoilage and the potential for becoming ill from food were not known. Early food regulations were not aimed at making food safer, but rather at preventing economic fraud. Food safety regulation issues have become a major source of friction in international trade. Trade in agricultural products, particularly the processed food items, is being increasingly subjected to non-tariff barriers like sanitary and phytosanitary (SPS) regulations related to trade flow. The procedures for settlement of dispute have been identified as key items on the World Trade Organization (WTO) agenda for future multilateral trade talks. As the demand for food safety rises, there is an increased need for higher SPS standards. 1.5 Food constituents. Nutrients are naturally occurring chemical substances found in food. There are 6 categories of nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, and water. We will be learning more about food constituents and additives in Block 2 of this course. The chemistry of the food constituents influences the characteristics of our food. Carbohydrates, proteins and fats in food provide the energy to our bodies required for performing functions, to do work. Of these, we usually meet most of our energy needs through carbohydrates and fats. However, when these two nutrients are present in inadequate amounts and cannot meet our body demands, then proteins are also metabolized to give us energy. Just as we measure the weight in grams and length in centimeters, energy value of food is measured in kilocalories or kilojoules. 1.5.1 Moisture. Every food material contains moisture. It is present in two forms, i.e., free water and bound water. It is one of the most important attributes of the food material that affects processing, packaging, preservation and shelf life of foods. 1.5.2 Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a group of substances that contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbohydrates occur in plant and animal tissues as well as in microorganisms in many different forms and amounts. Carbohydrates are the primary source of human energy and preferentially utilized before fats or proteins. 1 gram of available carbohydrate can provide 16 kilojoules of energy. Simple carbohydrates include the different forms of sugar, monosaccharides, and disaccharides. Complex carbohydrates, polysaccharides, include starches and dietary fibers. 1.5.3 Proteins. Food basics. Proteins are organic nitrogenous compounds of high molecular weight and are complex in nature. They are synthesized in plants, ribosomes, from nitrogen, CO2 and H2O. Dietary protein is supplied from plant and animal sources. Proteins are polymers of some 21 different amino acids joined together by peptide bonds. Of the 21 amino acids, 10 are essential for human nutrition. Because of the variety of side chains occurring when these amino acids are linked together, the different proteins may have different chemical properties and also widely different secondary and tertiary structures. 1.5.4 Lipids. Lipids consist of broad group of compounds generally soluble in organic solvent but sparingly soluble in water. They are major components of adipose tissue and one of the major structural components of all living cells. Lipids are glycerol esters of fatty acids obtained from plants and animals, traditionally called as fats and oils. Lipids in food exhibit unique physical and chemical Properties. Their composition, crystalline structure, melting properties and ability to associate with water and other non-lipid molecules are especially important to their functional properties in many foods. 1.5.5 Vitamins. Vitamins in our food are organic compounds needed in very small amounts, in milligrams and micrograms. They are required for normal metabolism, growth, and development and regulation of the cell functions. The vitamins are divided into fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins. Fat-soluble vitamins include vitamins A, D, A and K. The water-soluble vitamins include the B complex, group vitamins and vitamin C. The B complex vitamins include thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, pyridoxine, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid, folic acid, biotin, and cyanocobalamin, vitamin B12. Vitamins. Water-soluble. Vitamin B complex. Thiamine, B1. Riboflavin, B2. Niacin, B3. Pyridoxine, B6. Cyanocobalamin, B12. Biotin. Folic acid. Vitamin C. Ascorbic acid. Fat-soluble. Vitamin A, retinol. Vitamin D, calciferol. Vitamin E, L-tocopherol. Vitamin K, menadione. 1.5.6 Minerals. Minerals in food refer to the elements other than carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Minerals in food are found in low concentration but they play key functional roles in health and nutrition of humans. Around 90 elements occur naturally in the Earth's crust. About 25 of them are known to be essential to life and are present in living cells. Since our food is derived from living plants or animals, we can expect to find these 25 elements in our food. The minerals in foods are usually determined by ashing or incineration. This destroys the organic compounds and leaves the minerals behind. 1.6 Food and its functions. Now let us take a look at the food and its functions. Food comprises an array of chemical compounds encompassing science of nutrients including water, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and roughage required to sustain life. Food performs the following functions. Physiological functions, psychological function, social function. 1.6.1 Physiological functions. We know that our food provides us various nutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. These nutrients help in the normal functioning of our body process, including the muscle building. The deficiency or excess of one or more of these nutrients can very often result in maladjustment and malfunctioning of our body. Now we shall see how the food and the nutrients contained in it help in carrying out the physiological function. These can be grouped into three categories. Physiological functions of food: energy giving, body building, regulation of body processes and body protection. Energy giving function. Food is assimilated in our body and gives us energy for performing physical activities like walking, running, and other physical activities. We also spend energy while carrying out our daily work. You must have experienced that you feel hungry after hard work. It indicates that during physical activity energy is used up by our body. Apart from these, energy is also required for some of the involuntary processes going on inside our body, such as the process of blood circulation, respiration, maintenance of our body temperature, digestion and assimilation of food and excretion of waste products. All these processes are of utmost importance to keep us alive. Body building function. We have seen the growing up process in children. She gains both in weight and height. It is the growth process. This takes place only if the child eats the right type and amount of food. This particular function of food is known as the body building function. In our body, not only are new cells and tissues being added every moment but the old ones are also continuously being broken down. Here food helps in the repair and replacement of worn out tissues. Although all the nutrients help in this function, the major ones are proteins, minerals, vitamins and water. Regulation of body process and protection function. A number of reactions and processes take place in our body with the help of enzymes such as pepsin, renin, trypsin. All the enzymes are proteins. Enzymes are organic chemical substances formed in living cells to help facilitate various reactions in our body. Their role is more like a catalyst and they participate in various processes like respiration, digestion, absorption and metabolism of food, etc. Thus we can say that these proteins help in regulating various processes in our body. Similarly, vitamins, especially those of the B complex group, and minerals also help in regulating our body processes. Water is the most important constituent of our body and helps regulate all the body processes. From the body, waste material is thrown out in the form of perspiration, urine and feces with the help of water. Some proteins present in our body fight against diseases. These proteins are part of our immune system and are also called protective proteins. They act as soldiers and fight back the enemies, i.e., the disease-causing organisms. Thus, we are saved from a number of infections and diseases. Similarly, the vitamins keep our body and skin healthy and keep us away from diseases. Think of the cracks in an unhealthy skin which may occur due to the deficiency of some of the vitamins. Through such cracks, the disease organisms can enter the body and make us sick. 1.6.2 Psychological function. Food not only provides various nutrients but it also satiates our hunger and gives us psychological satisfaction. You may have experienced that the food that you particularly like gives you added pleasure. For instance, if you are fond of pakoras, fried fish, or halwa, and you get them in your meal, you experience joy in eating those. Thus, the food is also a mood conditioner. Similarly, withdrawal of food, often used as a punishment, can trigger depression or aggressive behavior. This is the psychological aspect of food. The food thus causes psychological satisfaction or dissatisfaction. 1.6.3 Social functions. Food has also an important socio-cultural role. It paves the way for social relations development. Man as a social animal likes to give or share food with fellow beings on congenial occasions. Food helps in bringing people closer. We often see that our social gatherings and functions are followed by some distribution, exchange or sharing of food. At a birthday, wedding or farewell party, food comes in for sharing of the joy and sentiments of togetherness. You must have often invited friends or relatives for tea, drinks, dinner etc. Here, food helps in expressing your affection towards them. In the same way, exchange of sweets on festivals like Diwali, Eid, Christmas, etc. is one of the ways of sharing the joy of the occasion with other people. Food and celebrations unite people. 1.7 Sacred foods and food taboos. The world's religions and faith groups have accorded certain importance to food within socio-religious practices and cultural traditions. Also, we notice that religions and communities have put some restrictions on certain food items, supposedly primarily on health considerations. Certain foods may be considered sacred, certain others are considered taboo by the rules promulgated by certain religions and faiths. For example, wine and bread in Christian congregations, lentil cereal meat pie in Islam and cereal milk sugar gruel in Hindu religious gatherings are served as sacred food. On the other hand, Judaism prescribes a strict set of rules, called kashrut, regarding what can and cannot be eaten. Certain denominations of Christianity also hold to these or similar rules. In Islamic practice, the laws of haram and halal dictate, among other things, certain meat foods which may not be consumed. Jains and conservative Hindus often follow religious directives to observe vegetarianism and avoid eating meat. The influence of religion and spiritual beliefs on eating habits has come to reflect in the opportunities for manufacturers and retailers to tailor products in accordance to religious needs and specifications. Specifically addressed are the traditions of kosher, halal and vegan vegetarianism. There are also unconscious cultural taboos against eating certain vegetables and meat of some animals. For example, conservative sects of Hindus and Jains refrain from eating onion, tuber crops and exotic vegetables. Eating insects like scorpions is a taboo in Europe, but considered elitist in China. Eating dog meat in many societies including the United States and Europe is unacceptable even though there is no law against eating dog meat in those countries. In Southeast Asia, most countries excluding Vietnam rarely consume dog meat either because of Islamic taboos, Buddhist values or animal rights as in the Philippines. Similarly, horse meat is rarely eaten in the US and UK, but is common in some parts of continental Europe and is considered a delicacy in France and Japan. Basashi. A fairly recent addition to cultural food taboos is that of eating the meat and or eggs of endangered species or animals that are otherwise protected by law or international treaty. Examples of such protected species include whales, sea turtles, and migratory birds. 1.8 Food as source of nutrients. In order to understand how we can enjoy greater health and well-being, we need to understand the types of food. There are 4 essential groups of food. 4. Health and well-being. We require food from all the groups. Many foods contain more than one component of food, and milk contains almost all components of food. Food is often classified as carbohydrate, including fiber-rich food, protein-rich food, fat-rich food, vitamins and minerals-rich food. 1.8.1 Carbohydrate-rich food. These are used in the body to produce energy. They are broken down in the body to form glucose. The glucose that is not immediately required is stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen. Plants use carbohydrates to build structures and store any excess of energy as starch, for example, cereals, starchy roots, vegetables and fruits. The energy in the body is used for external activities, behavior, such as work, sport, leisure, that is any movement of the body. Internal activities including breathing, pumping blood, digestion and the activities of the immune system. Non-digestible carbohydrates, dietary fiber. Fiber, or roughage, refers to the non-digestible carbohydrates in vegetables and, to a lesser extent, in fruit. The fiber provides the bulk, lubrication, and nutrition for friendly bacteria in the colon. When fiber is combined with water, it swells up and provides the bulk to the digestive system. This makes it easier for food to pass through the intestines. Food also passes through the digestive system faster, so that waste products are retained for less time in the body. Some fiber has the effect of lubricating the contents of the intestines and, therefore, makes the food pass through easily and in a timely manner. In addition, friendly bacteria in the colon feed on fiber and they are, therefore, nourished by it. By helping these friendly bacteria, we enable them to help us to digest the food. Fiber-rich foods are therefore necessary for a healthy and efficient digestive system, e.g., carrots, spinach, ladyfinger, okra, papaya, apples, etc. 1.8.2 Protein-rich food. Proteins are used by the body to aid in growth, development and repair. Build structures such as muscles, tissues and organs, including the heart, lungs and digestive organs. Produce enzymes, such as those required for digestion, and produce hormones in the endocrine glands. Proteins, therefore, are needed not only for obvious body structures, such as muscles, but also for the immune and digestive systems, etc. Meat, eggs, fish, and dairy products are rich in complete proteins. Quality proteins can also be obtained from certain cereals and beans like the soybean. 1.8.3 Fats and oil-rich food. Sources of fat include butter, ghee, animal meat, fish, and vegetable oils. Fats are required for building cell structure, nerves and brain. The brain is 40% fat. Fats are required in the body to insulate the body, produce sex hormones and adrenal cortex hormone, produce cholesterol, essential for cell membranes and bile salts, for example, absorb certain vitamins, A, D, A, and K, and store energy. Fats have got a bad name in recent times, yet they are an essential part of food. The body requires intake of some fat every day for health and well-being. 1.8.4 Vitamins and mineral-rich food. Vitamins and minerals occur in a variety of foods. By eating a variety of foods, we obtain the necessary vitamins and minerals one needs for sound health. Some examples are fruits and vegetables, milk, egg, fish, etc. Deficiencies or excess in any of these groups of foods could cause illness. Calcium is obtained from, for example, milk and fish. Iron is often obtained from meat, especially liver. Lacto-vegetarians can get their calcium from milk, and vegans, who do not eat any animal products, can get their calcium from fortified soy milk. To obtain one's calcium requirements from non-animal sources, one would have to eat a very large amount of vegetables or fruits. 1.9 Cuisines. A specific set of cooking traditions and practices, often associated with a specific culture or region, is called cuisine. A cuisine is primarily influenced by the civilizational culture of the region and ingredients that are available locally or through trade. Religious food laws can also exercise a strong influence on cuisine. Trade and cross-cultural interactions of a specific cuisine help that cuisine widen its popularity and acceptance. For instance, the Japanese cuisine has acquired international status in the post-Second War economic boom of that country. In addition to food, a cuisine often includes beverages, including wine, liquor, tea, coffee and other drinks. Among the significant cuisines of the world are the Chinese, French, Mediterranean, Indian, continental European, Arab, Thai, Japanese and American.
The last century has produced enormous improvements in food production, preservation, storage and shipping. Today almost every locale in the world has access to not only its traditional cuisine, but many other world cuisines as well. New cuisines are constantly evolving, as certain aesthetics rise and fall in popularity among professional chefs and their clientele. Nevertheless, just like Indian cuisine has spread its influence to South Asia and Far East, French cooking techniques have been a major influence on virtually all Western cuisines. Cuisine of India is characterized by its sophisticated and subtle use of many spices and herbs. Considered by some to be the world's most diverse cuisine, each family of this cuisine is characterized by a wide assortment of dishes and cooking techniques. Though a significant portion of Indian food is vegetarian, many traditional Indian dishes also include chicken, goat, lamb, fish, and other meats. Beef is not eaten by most Hindus. Food is an important part of Indian culture, playing a role in everyday life as well as in festivals. In many families, everyday meals are usually sit-down affairs consisting of 2 to 3 main course dishes, varied accompaniments such as chutneys and pickles, carbohydrate staples such as rice and roti, bread, as well as desserts. Generally, Indian cuisine can be split into 4 categories: North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, and West Indian. Despite this diversity, some unifying threads emerge in the art of Indian cuisine. Varied uses of spices are an integral part of food preparation and are used to enhance the flavor of a dish and create unique flavor, taste and aroma, and character. Cuisine across India has also been influenced by various cultural groups that entered India throughout history, from regions as diverse as West Asia, Central Asia and Europe. Cuisines of the Indian subcontinent includes cuisines from the peninsular region of South Asia, which includes India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh, as well as Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, part of China, and the Maldives. One characteristic component of the cuisines of these regions is rice and curry dishes. The following are the important cuisines of India. North Indian cuisines: Punjabi cuisine, Kashmiri cuisine, Banarsi cuisine, Sindhi cuisine. South Indian cuisines: Udupi cuisine, Kerala cuisine, Andhra cuisine, Hyderabadi cuisine, Karnataka cuisine, Tamil cuisine. West Indian cuisines: Maharashtrian cuisine, Malwani cuisine, Goan cuisine, Rajasthani cuisine, Gujarati cuisine. East Indian cuisines: Bengali cuisine, Assamese cuisine, Bihari cuisine, traditional cuisines of Jharkhand, Oriya cuisine, Anglo-Indian cuisine. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 1. 10. Consumption trends. Food is very much the part of popular culture, and the beliefs, practices, and trends in a culture affect its eating practices. Popular culture includes the ideas and objects generated by a society. There has been an increasing trend toward consumerism, convenience foods, health foods, functional foods, and foods of ethnic diversity. Consumerism is an urban trend that is reflected in more people eating away from home. Internationally, the proportion of money spent on food eaten away from home, as well as in restaurants, has been steadily increasing. This also has resulted in rising demand for dining at formal sit-down restaurants, at fast food eateries, cafes, or purchasing food from street vendors. Food consumption trends toward changing the world over. This influences the food industry. Rapid economic and income growth along with the globalization are encouraging a dramatic shift in food preference and consumption, particularly in Asian countries. The shift is happening from the staple cereals increasingly towards livestock and dairy products along with increased consumption of fruits, vegetables, fats and oils, rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids. The traditional food consumption patterns are giving way to Western dishes and diet. The diet transition is characterized by increased consumption of high protein and energy dense food. However, demand for individual foods is more responsive to prices as consumers substitute among alternative food commodities. Rising incomes also tend to push up food prices as consumers demand more convenience, quality, and safety. Demographic factors such as size of the family unit and age group of the population also impact consumption pattern. Fast food accounts for the largest and fastest rising share of sales in the food industry. Sales in fast food industries now outpace the sales in full service restaurants. People want quick and convenient meals. They do not want to spend too much time in preparing meals, traveling to pick up meals, or waiting for meals in a restaurant. Consumers want to combine mealtime with time engaged in other activities such as shopping, work, recreation, or travel. Urbanizing lifestyles, changing food tastes, is sought in food preparation, but to save time and money spent for food and inadequate cooking facilities in crowded urban slums are among the reasons for the shifts in food consumption pattern. The value of women's time is an important factor affecting household expenditure on food. More and more women entering the workforce to supplement the family income also is affecting the household food cooking. The global supermarket chains and fast food restaurants are moving in to occupy this space. For example, food multinationals like the McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, Burger King, Domino's Pizza, Papa John's and Walmart are now showing up their presence in every neighborhood. On the other hand, the changing food trends are also resulting in eating disorders and malnutrition, as in binge eating resulting in obesity, malnutrition and anorexia nervosa. 1.11 Food Industry. From the kitchens in homes, food preparation has traveled a long way to become an industry with ours 45 lakhs crores and is still expanding. The food industry is divided into four major segments. Food basics. 1. Agricultural production. 2. Manufacturing processing. 3. Distribution. 4. Marketing. Production. Production includes such activities as farming, ranching, orchard management, fishing and aquaculture. Technologies involved in production of the raw materials include the selection of plant and animal varieties, cultivation, growth, harvest, slaughter, and the storage and handling of the raw materials. Manufacturing processing. Manufacturing converts raw agricultural products to more refined or finished products. Manufacturing requires many unit operations and processes that are at the core of food sector. Distribution. Distribution deals with those aspects conducive to product sales, including product form, weight and bulk, transportation, storage requirements and storage stability. Marketing. Marketing is the selling of foods in raw and processed form and involves wholesale, retail, institutional distribution and restaurants. These four divisions often overlap. Nevertheless, the food industry requires planning and synchronization in all its divisions to be successful. Another way of dividing the food industry is along major product lines. Times cereals and bakery products. Times meats, fish and poultry. Times dairy products. Times fruits and vegetables. Times sugars and other sweets. Times fats and oils. Times non-alcoholic beverages, alcoholic beverages. These divisions are typical where consumer consumption is measured and reported. Each segment can be divided into number of subsegments. For example, cereal processing may include meat processing, pulse processing, bakery industries, greening foods industries, fast food manufacturing, etc. Allied industries. Many companies do not sell food directly, but they are deeply involved in the food industry. These are called allied industries. Allied industries produce non-food items that are necessary for manufacturing and marketing food. The packaging industry is a good example. Some specific examples include cans, food color and flavor, paper products, and plastic products. Chemical manufacturers represent another group of allied industries. They supply the acidulants, preservatives, enzymes, stabilizers, and other chemicals used in foods. Monitoring and regulatory agencies such as the PFA, IGNOU, BIS, APEDA, FPO, Food and Drug Administration, FDA, lawyers, consumer action and information agencies, and other regulatory agencies are also part of allied industries. 1.12 Processing and Value Addition. India is one of the largest producers of food and food raw material like cereals and milk. The country has comparative advantages in value addition to agricultural products. However, it is not happening because of several factors, including a lack of sustained and favorable policy framework. The domestic demand for processed food is huge because of the geographical vastness and huge population size. Key to giving a fillip to India's food production would be bridging the significant gap between potential yield and actual yield and enlarging the food processing to minimize all the wastages in the food production and distribution. The onus has got to be on high-tech harvest and post-harvest technologies. The production mix of both agriculture and value addition has to be reorganized in line with the changing consumer demands. Organic foods, nutraceuticals and functional foods are coming into focus. Market for such foods is increasing rapidly with increasing health consciousness and growing concern about environmental issues. Post-harvest value addition includes primary, secondary and tertiary processing and operations performed on farm produce. It is to provide longer shelf life, maintain improved quality, and enhance form, space and time utility of the produce for food, feed, fiber, fuel and industrial purposes. Food processing industry in India. The food processing industry is one of the largest industries in India. It is ranked fifth in terms of production, consumption, export and expected growth. The industry is worth 350,000 rupees crores including Rs. 99,000 crores worth of value-added products. Food processing is a large sector that covers activities such as agriculture, horticulture, plantation, animal husbandry and fisheries. It also includes other industries that use agriculture inputs for manufacturing of edible products. Processed food industry in India contributes 6.3% of the GDP and accounts for 13% of export and 6% of the capital investment. India produces about 600 million tons of farm produce annually. In spite of food production and facilities, the level of processing has been as low as 2% in case of fruits and vegetables in comparison to 60% in UK and USA, 80% in Malaysia, and 30% in Thailand. The level of processing in other commodities has been to the tune of 14% in milk, 4% in fish and 1% in meat and poultry. Thus, India's contribution to processing of farm produce in the year 2004 to 2005 has been only about 1% at the global level and 2% at the national level. Value addition. The market for processed foods in 2014 to 2015 in comparison to 2003 to 2004 is expected to go up 11 times for fruits and vegetables, 4 times for dairy, 15 times for poultry, 4.3 times for buffalo meat, 1.4 times for milled rice, 1.5 times for mid-meat, 16 times for ready-to-eat RTE foods, 5.4 times for marine products, 9.3 times for sugar and sugar-based products, 4.8 times for alcoholic beverages, 2.5 times for related cold beverages, twice for pulses and 4.5 times for spices. The growth per annum in processed foods would be about 10%, primary processed foods 7%, and value-added foods 15%. The share of value-added products would increase from the existing 20% to 35% by 2014 to 2015. The level of processing in organized sector is expected to increase by 8% in fruits and vegetables, dairy, 30%, buffalo meat, 45%, poultry, 25%, and marine products, 20%. India, with 5,147 certified organic farms in 2005, ranked 33 in the world, having 0.114 million ha under organic cultivation out of total 31 million ha in the world. The food processing industry ranks fifth in its contribution to value addition but tops the list in terms of employment opportunities, with approximately 15 lakhs employed, consisting of 19% of the total investment in the industrial sector but contributes 18% to the GDP. 1.13 National Food Processing Policy. The government has come out with a draft National Food Processing Policy with a vision to motivate farmers and food processors and to provide interactive coupling between technology, economy, environment and society for speedy development of food processing activities to build up a substantial base for production of value-added agro-food products for domestic and export markets, with a strong emphasis on food safety and quality, enabling the farmers especially to realize direct benefits of new technology and marketing network and to ensure adequate availability of quality food products for the consumers at economic prices. The policy will seek to create an appropriate environment for the entrepreneurs to set up food processing industries through rationalization of tax structure, harmonization and simplification of food laws, promotion campaign to create market for processed foods by providing financial assistance to industry associations, NGOs, cooperatives, private sector units and state government organizations. It also includes infrastructural developments programs, schemes like establishment of cold chain, low-cost pre-cooling facilities near farms, cold stores and grading, sorting, packaging facilities, application of biotechnology, remote sensing technologies, energy-saving technologies and technologies for environmental protection, building up a strong infrastructural base for production of value-added products with special emphasis on food safety and quality matching international standards, etc. The policy has many backward and forward linkages between farmers, market, processors and consumers. 1.14 Food trade. Till recently, India's agriculture trade policy has been primarily driven by the objective of attaining self-sufficiency and self-reliance in order to eradicate hunger and provide essential food at reasonable prices. The central and state governments procure food grains from the growers on the basis of the procurement prices fixed by the government. This is used for maintaining the public stocks for disbursement among low-income groups at subsidized prices through the Public Distribution System (PDS) network. Earlier, the efforts were to insulate the domestic market from global market by restrictive trade policies, high tariff and non-tariff barriers, and government controls and regulations over agricultural trade. However, India's adherence to the WTO trade norms is changing this situation. Agricultural exports and imports are getting liberated and globalized. Still, India's tariffs on agricultural products remain high by global standards. However, the country is pledged to bring it down to ASEAN Association of Southeast Asian Nations, levels. Tariff quotas are maintained on some edible oils, maj and milk powder. Import prohibitions are in place for certain fats, oils of animal origin, and beef, based on GATT, General Agreement to Trade and Tariffs, Article XX that permits countries to restrict imports on religious grounds. Some products, such as wheat, rye, oats, maj, rice, canary seed and other cereals, continue to be traded by canalizing agencies like the State Trading Corporation, Food Corporation of India and NAFED, National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited. The international trading system has taken on an increasingly consumer-driven focus. It is paying heightened attention to maintaining public confidence in the food safety and food quality systems, while simultaneously ensuring to handle a sound, science-based approach regulatory technical trade issues. Now food is a global commodity. Food is traded and shipped around the world. The food processing industries are opening subsidiaries in other countries and fast food companies are opening outlets all over the world. Globalization and WTO are affecting the world food processing industries to a great extent with the new global standards and food safety regulations. 1.15 Summary. Food is essential for all living things and human beings for their energy needs. Food has three major functions, namely physiological, psychological, and social. Nutrition is the study of the functions of food consumed and the processes by which it is used up for physical growth and staying healthy. There are six categories of nutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, vitamins, minerals, and water. The chemistry of these nutrients influences the characteristics and processing of the food. Food chain denotes the feeding relationships between species in an ecological community. They graphically represent the transfer of material and energy from one species to another within an ecosystem. Food chain in an ecosystem starts from the primary producer, plants, and moves on to consumers, primary, secondary and tertiary, the decomposer and recycling. The food industry is divided into production, manufacturing, distribution and marketing. The industry is sensitive to its linkages and changes. Food is now a global commodity with sensitivity to output and marketing trends. The agro-food processing industry sector in India is one of the largest in terms of production, consumption, exports and growth prospects. India is the third largest producer of food in the world, but the value addition to processed food is meager 7%. India's share in international food trade is less than 1%. The government has come out with a draft of National Food Processing Policy with the vision to motivate and provide interactive compiling between all stakeholders. The policy will seek to create an appropriate environment for the entrepreneurs to set up food processing industries through creating enabling environment, infrastructure developing with backward and forward linkages. Food is now traded and marketed on a global basis. The variety and availability of food is no longer restricted by the diversity of locally grown food or the limitation of local growing season. India's agriculture trade policy is primarily driven by the objective to attaining self-sufficiency in order to eradicate hunger and provide essential food at reasonable prices. Rapid economic and income growth, organization and globalization are leading to a dramatic shift in diet patterns from staples to ready-to-eat and convenient foods. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.